like a war room.
It looks like the recorded minutes of the meetings that took place here. The last one was dated roughly 26 years ago.
What was it about?
A lot of information was torn off. Due to something they blotted over with ink. And the military commander should execute a defensive measure called Asylum. What could that be?
Scour the prostitution.
Some sort of access beneath the keep.
Military workshop for enchanters.
The Enclave never used magic to expand its borders, but had to defend itself.
Against nations that thought otherwise.
Exactly.
Research notes from about 40 years ago, probably from an enchanter that worked here, observing arc degradation. Looks like there was an expected and normal amount of degradation observed in the arcs following the surge. But once the arcs start killing civilians, it says, this is a systemic failure. What could that mean?
It means the arcs weren't sent to attack us as a means of defense.
They've lost control over them.
A final note scrawled on the cover page. The Archons will be no use in Asylum's execution.
Private chambers, perhaps belonging to the Bastion's commander.
A letter to the commander from Khan Stanild. He signed his title beneath the I. Times have necessitated an information blackout. The cause of the casualties must be purged from even the Bastion's most secure records. Furthermore, military personnel are to be separated from civilians unless facilitating the evacuation of the level. If word of the problem's true severity spreads across the populace, panic will be uncontrollable. It is imperative that Asylum succeeds.
Picture. All these documents you're finding will be illuminating. I might be able to piece this together soon. Whatever Asylum is, it sounds like a large-scale military endeavor. We should find more evidence of it than just a few papers.
I need to keep scouting the Bastion then. Found a key switch. There's a note with it. It says, Commander, it's ready. Use the harness to execute Asylum.
Another key swatch. Wonder if it will lead us to whatever the harness is.
Where am I? Underground.
Barrier almost looks like a veil.
It must be the one Lucia wrote about in her notes.
And the panel looks like our scry. Anyone know what it is?
No idea.
Similar design to a scry, but it looks like... I know we need to discuss the barrier and its potential ties to the flood, but
Of course. Years after the surge, there was an inexplicable spike.
You don't think it's due to the...
Well, that may be part of it, but we can't be certain due to the information blackout. What seems to have saved them was Asylum's execution. A defensive measure that involved sealing the underground.
Almost like the veil.
Exactly like...
So, back to the barrier. Think it's...
Yes, the very same. She was right, too. It's caused the raw magic that off-gases from the veil is what causes the tangles to cluster at its base. In speaking with Darm, we theorized that this second barrier, except in a more pressurized environment, like, say, within a barrier of kinetic magic...
We don't get small pockets of raw magic like tangles.
Precisely.
So we need to remove Asylum's barrier to stop the flood. Now we really need to talk to the other.
Agreed.
All right. Let's go over everything we know so far.
We know that, for a time after the surge, civilians continued to live in Tenebron until they were forced to evacuate the city. We're still not sure the cause.
Wherever the Hearthsiders went, they're still actively sending scouting groups from the uniform. The creeper who was watching Bryn's sleep belongs...
We also know that a defensive procedure codenamed Asylum sealed up. This was done using a barrier almost exactly like the veil.
Lucia, an ex-high enchantress, opposed Asylum and began working on...
Her research forecasted that the barrier would cause the Enclave to flood with miasma. The very same flood that seems to have killed Lucia before she was able to finish her thimble.
But we have her design.
So Lucia's thimble is the key to our survival.
It's less a key and more like a magical battering ram.
Whatever works.
What is it, Lane?
It's just... I've pored over... I can't shake the feeling we're missing something.
The Enclave destroyed a lot of information from their documents. Could that be why you can't find a link between Asylum and the evacuation?
I considered that.
Being a weaver isn't about being certain all the time. It's about taking calculated risks to carve a path forward. And regardless of the Hearthsider's location, disrupting the barrier is the only option to stop the flood.
You're right. I just hope that if we did miss something, it doesn't come back to bite us.
Even if it does, we will handle it.
That settles it. Bryn, it's time to use the thimble.
A deadly flood of raw magic is just what we need.